Welcome to the Haunted Quill. In the deep twilight of history, before the rise of modern cities and the hum of machines, there existed a world where magic was not just an idea, but a way of life. From the sacred sands of Egypt to the olive groves of Greece and the misty forests of the Celtic Druids, magic wove itself into the fabric of daily existence. Imagine a young scribe seated in a grand Egyptian temple, lit by flickering oil lamps. Around him, papyrus scrolls spilled with spells, incantations, and sacred texts believed to harness the power of the gods. The scribe dipped his reed pen into ink, carefully inscribing symbols taught to him by a wizened priest of Thoth, the god of wisdom and magic. In ancient Egypt, magic, known as Heka, was not mere illusion or trickery, it was a divine force. The Egyptians believed that the universe was held together by Heka, a gift bestowed by the gods at creation. Practitioners of magic were seen as guardians of this sacred order, entrusted with maintaining balance. One of the most famous magical tales in Egyptian lore is the story of Isis and Osiris. Isis, the great magician, was said to have resurrected her slain husband Osiris, using her profound mastery of spells and the spoken word. This act made her a symbol of life, healing, and eternal love. Egyptian wizards and priests were often healers, crafting remedies infused with enchantments. A simple poultice for a wound might be accompanied by whispered words to invoke Sekhmet, the lioness goddess of healing and protection. Each spell was believed to carry the weight of divine power. Across the Mediterranean Sea, under the shadow of Mount Olympus, the ancient Greeks had their own traditions of magic, steeped in philosophy and myth. Their word for magic, magia, came from the Persian mage, and it evolved into a blend of rituals, astronomy, and natural science. Greek wizards, or magicians, were often philosophers, blending their craft with the pursuit of wisdom. Pythagoras, the famed mathematician, was said to practice a form of magic that connected numbers to the divine harmony of the cosmos. His followers believed numbers could unlock the secrets of the universe. In Athens, women known as pharmakotriae prepared potions and spells to influence love, heal ailments, or even curse enemies. These women, often misunderstood, were both revered and feared for their connection to unseen forces. One of the most mysterious figures in Greek magic was the oracle. At Delphi, the Pythia, a priestess of Apollo, sat atop a tripod above a fissure in the earth. Inhaling ethereal vapors, she delivered cryptic prophecies that shaped the destinies of kings and empires. Greek magic was deeply intertwined with the gods. Zeus, Hermes, and Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft, were invoked in rituals ranging from protection to necromancy. Offerings and hymns accompanied these rites, creating a connection between mortals and the divine. Meanwhile, in the misty, forested lands of the Celts, the Druids practiced a form of magic that was deeply rooted in nature. They were not just wizards, but also philosophers, astronomers, and judges. Their wisdom was said to come from the spirits of the land, the trees, and the stars. The Druids revered the oak tree above all, believing it to be a bridge between the mortal world and the divine. The sacred mistletoe, harvested with golden sickles, was used in ceremonies to bring fertility, heal illnesses, and protect against evil spirits. Druidic magic was less about written spells and more about oral tradition. Knowledge was passed down through intricate songs, chants, and stories that held the essence of their wisdom. To hear a Druid's chant was to feel the pulse of the earth itself. In their rituals, Druids called upon the power of elemental forces, the roaring fire, the flowing water, the steadfast earth, and the whispering winds. These elements were seen as living entities, each with its own spirit and will. Among the Druids, the circle was a powerful symbol. Stone circles like Stonehenge were believed to be places of immense magical energy, where rituals aligned with the cycles of the moon and the stars were performed to honor the gods and harness their blessings. While the Egyptians sought to maintain cosmic order, the Greeks to unravel the mysteries of the universe, and the Druids to live in harmony with nature. All three shared a belief in the profound interconnectedness of life and magic. Egyptian priests spoke words of power, believing that speech itself could alter reality. A single incantation, when spoken correctly, was thought to command gods and spirits alike. Words were not mere tools, but living forces. The Greeks, too, saw language as magical. Their hymns and epics were imbued with the ability to inspire, heal, and invoke divine intervention. Homer's tales, though legendary, were considered magical texts by some, capable of enchanting the soul. For the Druids, storytelling was magic. A tale told beneath the ancient oaks, under the stars, carried the wisdom of generations. These stories, layered with meaning, taught lessons, preserved history, and connected the listener to the spirit of the land. Each civilization had its talismans. Egyptians carried scarabs and amulets shaped like the Eye of Horus, symbols of protection and renewal. Greeks wore charms engraved with sacred symbols, while the Druids believed in the power of inscribed omum stones. Though separated by geography, the magic of these cultures often converged. Greek travelers to Egypt marveled at the temples and borrowed ideas, blending them with their own traditions. Roman conquests later carried Druidic practices into their empire, preserving fragments of their lore. As you drift deeper into this story, imagine yourself walking through an Egyptian temple, the cool stone beneath your feet, hieroglyphs glowing softly in the torchlight. You turn a corner and see a priest chanting before a statue of Anubis, the air thick with incense. Now, step into an olive grove in Greece. The sun filters through the leaves, and a philosopher stands before a small altar, murmuring prayers to Athena. The scent of honey and wine offerings fills the air as the wind carries his words to the heavens. Finally, enter the Celtic woods, where mist clings to ancient trees. A druid, clad in robes of white, raises a staff toward the moon, chanting in a language older than time. Around him, a circle of standing stones hums with unseen energy. Magic, in its many forms, is the art of wonder, the ability to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. It reminds us that even in the quiet moments, the world hums with mystery and potential. Across these lands, magic was not just a tool, but a way to connect with the divine. It bridged the gap between mortals and gods, the seen and unseen. Whether through sacred chants, celestial observations, or rituals steeped in nature, magic was a language spoken between worlds. In Egypt, the Book of the Dead was among the most significant magical texts. These scrolls contained spells meant to guide the deceased through the afterlife, ensuring safe passage and eternal life. To own such a book was to hold the key to immortality. Meanwhile, the Greeks sought wisdom from the heavens. Astrology, deeply intertwined with magic, flourished in their culture. The movements of the stars and planets were believed to influence human fate, a belief inherited from Babylonian scholars. The Druids, too, were stargazers, their sacred sites aligned with celestial events, like the solstices and equinoxes. Observing the stars was both a scientific pursuit and a magical practice, connecting them to the rhythms of the cosmos. Magic often served as a bridge between life and death. Egyptian priests performed rituals to communicate with the spirits of the departed, while Greek necromancers sought visions from the underworld. The Druids and their Samhain celebrations honored the thin veil between the living and the dead. Egyptian temples were vast, labyrinthine places of learning and magic. The walls were adorned with images of gods, each symbolically imbued with power. Rituals performed within these halls were not for spectacle but to ensure the harmony of the cosmos. The Greek temples, though different in structure, also hummed with mystical energy. Oracles and priests served as intermediaries between the divine and human realms, interpreting the will of the gods through dreams, signs, and sacred ceremonies. The Druids, in contrast, found their sacred spaces beneath open skies. Forest glades, rivers, and hilltops were their temples. Nature itself was their cathedral, and their rituals echoed the timeless songs of wind and water. Across these lands, wizards and magicians were often misunderstood figures. In Egypt, they were revered as healers and scholars. In Greece, they walked a fine line between philosopher and charlatan. Among the Celts, Druids were both feared and honored for their mysterious power. The tools of magic were as diverse as its practitioners. Egyptian priests used wands carved with sacred symbols, while Greek magicians relied on herbs, potions, and astrological charts. Druids wielded staffs and sacred stones, each infused with their unique energy. Magic was not always a force for good. In every culture, there were whispers of dark spells and curses. Egyptian texts warned against invoking malevolent spirits. Greek tragedies often portrayed the consequences of misused magic, and Celtic legends spoke of banshees and spirits who brought misfortune. Yet, the heart of magic lay in its ability to inspire hope and wonder. Whether healing the sick, guiding the lost, or connecting the living with the divine, magic was a source of solace in a world full of uncertainties. The Egyptians believed their gods walked among them, their presence tangible in the natural world. The Greeks placed their gods on Mount Olympus, watching from afar, but always within reach through ritual and prayer. The Druids saw the divine in every leaf, stone, and star. Magic was not merely a practice, but a world view. It taught respect for the unseen forces that governed life, a lesson we often overlook in our modern age. To practice magic was to acknowledge that the world was full of mysteries yet to be understood. Picture now a young apprentice in each of these lands. In Egypt, he learns to inscribe hieroglyphs on a golden amulet, infusing it with protection. In Greece, she studies the night sky, charting the stars to predict the future. In Celtic lands, a boy gathers herbs under the moonlight, listening to the wisdom of his elder. These apprentices, though separated by culture and geography, shared a common purpose: to understand and harness the forces of the universe. Their journeys were long, filled with wonder and challenges, but they were guided by the knowledge passed down through generations. Over time, the ancient traditions of magic began to wane. Conquests and cultural shifts saw temples fall into ruin and oral traditions fade. Yet, the echoes of their wisdom remained, carried in whispers and stories passed down through the ages. The magical traditions of Egypt influenced the Greco-Roman world, where mystery schools carried forward their teachings. Greek philosophies and magical practices merged, creating new traditions that would later shape medieval alchemy and astrology. The Druids faced perhaps the greatest challenge of all, with the Roman conquest of Celtic lands. Their sacred sites were desecrated and their knowledge suppressed, yet fragments of their wisdom survived, hidden in folklore and the cycles of nature. Despite the passage of time, the essence of these magical traditions persists. The symbols of Egypt still captivate us. The myths of Greece continue to inspire, and the connection to nature upheld by the Druids reminds us of our place in the world. Magic teaches us to see the extraordinary in the everyday. It asks us to look beyond what is visible and find meaning in the stars, the trees, and the whisper of the wind. In this way, it remains as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. As you lie here, listening to these stories, let the images of ancient wizards, priestesses, and druids fill your mind. Imagine their voices chanting spells, their hands crafting talismans, their eyes gazing into the mysteries of the cosmos. The world of magic is not so far removed from ours. In every act of kindness, every moment of wonder, there lies a spark of the same energy that the ancients revered. Magic is not just a relic of the past, it is a reminder of what connects us to each other and the universe. So, as you drift into sleep, let the wisdom of these ancient traditions soothe your soul. Remember that the magic of Egypt, Greece, and the Druids lives on in the stories we tell, the stars we gaze upon, and the earth we walk upon. In the quiet of the night, as dreams take hold, imagine yourself as a part of this magical legacy. Feel the power of the ancients coursing through you, a timeless force that whispers, "The magic is always within."